So finally, I'm back. Sorry it's been so long. I've been really busy. I've been home for um almost a week now, but I have been watching hockey and I've been busy doing other things, trying to find jobs and whatever. Anyways, so I thought I would do a recap of the whole Penguin season since it's now over. And yeah, we've had our locker cleanouts. Crosby's going to go play for Team Canada, which is awesome. Malt's going to play for Team Russia, which is not so awesome because I really think that he should be, resting because he hurt his ankle. And Perron played with broken ribs or hurt ribs. Hornquist played with broken ribs. So yeah, season's over. It didn't really go as planned, but I mean, the fact that we only lost by one goal every single game to the top team in the league, that's pretty darn good. No one expected the Penguins to even be in the playoffs or even put up a fight against the Rangers, and every single game is by one goal. Two of them went to overtime. We did it without Letang, without Mata, without Ehrhoff, without Pouliot. If we would have had all four of those players, I definitely think the Penguins could have beat the Rangers because the Rangers should have walked all over us. And they didn't. So if I were the Rangers, I'd be a little bit concerned next round about facing the Capitals because while I don't think the Capitals are that great, I don't think the Rangers are that great either. And it's going to be a great goaltending battle. I think Holtby is a great up-and-coming young goalie. And of course, you got King, Henrik, and net. And then you got Ovechkin. So they go from Crosby to Ovechkin. That's going to be fun for them. I don't think that, the Rangers' defense, I think, is overrated. I think the Capitals' defense is also overrated. So it's going to be an interesting series, but I definitely think that the Rangers might have some trouble with the Capitals. The Capitals took advantage of the Islanders' injured defense, even though the Islanders, I think, should have won that series. So, especially now the Rangers don't have Zuccarello, I think that can be a big loss, a big loss for them. So, yeah, so season's over. Pretty successful, I'd say, all in all. Wasn't the result we wanted, but then again, you know what? I wasn't really expecting us to do much better, so I'm not really too disappointed. I mean, usually when the Penguins lose, they lose and they implode. But this year, they lost. Fleury was good. Every game, there was no blowout games. Every effort was pretty close. It was a lot less painful this year than in previous years. So I like that. Going forward, I think it's going to be a very interesting offseason. There's lots of talk about, should the Penguins trade Malkin and blah, blah, blah. Should they trade Letang? You do realize if you trade Evgeny Malkin, you no longer have Evgeny Malkin. There are no players in the league you can package for Malkin that will be as good. It will automatically make your team worse. Yes, the Penguins need to get younger. Yes, they need speed. The way to do that is not by getting rid of Evgeny Malkin. Adam Gratz, you can follow him on Twitter at @Gratz, wrote a great article about why Crosby, Malkin, and Letang are not the reason for the Penguins' cap problems. They were not the reason they were forced to play 2 straight weeks with 5 defensemen. It's paying too much for core guys. It's paying $2 million or $3 million for Nick Spaulding, $3 million for Brandon Sutter. It's paying an atrocious amount of money to Rob Scuderi. That was not Jim Rutherford, but still. And giving him a partial no movement clause. It's paying, I love Dupuis, but it's paying, guys like Pascal Dupuis, $4 million. Chris Kunitz, $4 million. They're on the other side of 30. They're going to be 40 in a few years, and they're signed for 3 more years. I would maybe look at taking a guy like Kunitz and chopping him out. I would keep Dupuis because I think his leadership and what he brings off the ice, it's just as important as what he brings on the ice, and he's one of Crosby's best friends, and, I love that French connection. I would maybe look at chopping a guy like Kunitz. He could still be useful in another team, or at least putting him down further in the lineup, because his hands just disappeared this year, and he did not look good on the top 6 at all. I think maybe that part of his life is gone, and I would think about maybe putting him on the third line. But then you have a $4 million player playing on your third line. David Perron, he hurt his ribs. He'll be back. He'll be better next season. I expect he will be really good, with Crosby or Malkin. Kasper Kapanen, will he be ready next season? I'm not sure if he will be, but he's looking pretty good in the AHL right now. And they need to get younger. They need to get faster. And he's a good skater. He's not the best skater, but he's good, and he's He's a young, exciting, skilled player who can play in the top 6, put in with Malkin, put in with Crosby, bam, you never know what could happen. Trade a guy like Brandon Sutter. He's absolutely terrible. Edmonton loves centers. Edmonton would probably want him. They could probably see him as someone, behind like Connor McDavid and, Teddy Purcell or Nugent Hopkins or whatever. Or trade him to, a Toronto probably might like him. Actually, they might not now, and they have all this analytic stuff. But you got to get rid of a guy like Brandon Sutter. You're paying him too much money to be an abysmal third-line center. Basically, he's your fourth-line center. You're paying him that amount of money. Craig Adams won't be back, hopefully. Daniel Winnick, hopefully we can re-sign him on the cheap. Blake Como, he can go. Steve Downey, he's good, but he's crazy. He can go. I know that a lot of people did not like Thomas Greiss this season, but he did not get a lot of run support. His team did not play very well when he was there. I would re-sign him again for a similar, cheap deal. It's basically a no risk deal. 1 year, $1 million. Very little. Ian Cole, I'll definitely re-sign him. Bo Bennett. I think Jim Yara said something really interesting about Bo Bennett, about how they kind of understood his development, how they really like him as a player, but he has to get more consistent, which I agree with, and how they should have sent him down to Wilkes-Barre for some playing time. I'm not sure if they should have sent him down to Wilkes-Barre, but definitely they have not treated him very well. And, again, this year he was injured, which is becoming a big problem, but Mike Johnson also put him on the fourth line many times for some reason. It's all about player usage, so I would definitely look to see him having an updated role in the top 6 next season, maybe along with a Kapanen or a Perron. Oscar Sundqvist looks like he could also be coming next season, at least maybe start in the AHL and then come to the NHL. I think he can be a nice depth player for the Penguins, and I liked what I saw from Brian Ross. Maybe he can go down in the minors, go down further in the lineup next season. They have options to get younger. We don't need to go out and sign tons and tons of guys for leadership. Crosby and Malkin should be some of the oldest players on the team next season. We shouldn't be having these Rob Scuderies, these Chris Kunitz's and Pascal Dupuis. It should be Crosby, Malkin, Fleury should be the oldest. On the back end, we should have Letang as the oldest. I love Paul Martin, but I think he's got to go. Christian Ehrhoff, it just didn't work out this season. I think he's a great player, I'd like to see him resign, maybe for 1 year, 2 years, but that's it. I wouldn't want a long-term deal for him. And Dumoulin and Chorny have shown that they're more than capable of having lower limited NHL minutes. Scott Harrington looks like he could be ready for an NHL role. Derek Pouliot, again, he's a stud. And then we got Oli Mata. So I think if we have Letang with a whole bunch of youngish guys and Ian Cole in defense, somehow find a way to buy Rob Scuderi, I think that's looking pretty good. So that's all for this one. I'll do a video for the draft and for the World Championships, maybe talk about Crosby and Malkin, how they're doing. First game for Canada is on Friday, so that will be exciting. Please like if you like this video, subscribe if you really like it, share with all your friends, tell everyone. I will see you, I guess, on Friday after the Team Canada game. Alright, let's go Penguins. Hope you all have a good